Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. I'm the President, Founder, and Chief Listening Officer here at our network, and our show today is the Mallorca Connection. I'm super excited about this particular episode because not only do we have the fabulous Roland.friedl with us, the star of our show, but we also have another one of our team members here joining us as our guest, and that would be pet psychic Aminah, who has her own show on Fridays. So let's bring out Roland. He's currently traveling in his motorhome somewhere in Europe. I never know where exactly he's going to be, but I'm also very grateful the fact that he has Wi-Fi and makes sure that he can join us each and every week. Welcome to the program, Roland.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Great to see you again.
Hi, nice to see you as well. Where are you joining us from in your wireless life rocks right now?
Well, the continent is Europe, the country is Spain, but the location is difficult. I'm somewhere in nowhere. There's miles and miles, nothing, no village, nothing. For those who know Spain a little bit, I guess I'm around 45, 50 miles land inside from Alicante, from the seaside. So more or less, that's more or less, but there's nothing around me.
I love that. You've been to some pretty incredible places. And, you know, one thing I want our audience to know is that in addition to you having a wireless life and your incredible career of expertise helping not only men all over the world, but as a business strategist, as a business leader, as a business coach, you work with some of the largest organizations in the world. You are a huge advocate for the environment, for protecting Mother Earth. And you also have another show on this platform that deals with that. Tell us more.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. And yeah, welcome wherever you are listening us or watching us, observing us. Yeah, I'm actually, besides my businesses, what I learned, not only in business, but through my traveling. I always traveled. I always describe myself as a world traveler since I'm in my early years. Meaning a world travel doesn't mean going to a hotel and sit at the pool and I don't know, eating at a buffet. It means really connect with the people, learn from their culture, learn from their religion, learn the languages a little bit at least, learn how to cook, whatever to do. So I always travel the world, and also with my businesses. And what I saw during my travels is, on the other hand, beautiful places, really beautiful places. And then you go to beautiful places like, I don't know, for Bali, for example, one of my favorite places in Indonesia. And you go to this magical spiritual island where a lot of people come from all over the world. And then you see how polluted it is. So I never understand why people go for a vacation and pollute the same place where they spend their time. So anyway, so many years ago, as I said, okay, it's not only about complaining about it. I mean, it's bad when somebody don't think about it, just draw stuff away. But I think it's the same when you just complain, but you don't act. So years ago, because, you know, Jacalyn, my home base has been Mallorca for the last 14 years in Spain before I moved full-time in my motorhome. So I always organized beach cleanings or stuff like that, or on vacations. Encouraging people just to bend down when they do a beach walk or when they do a dog walk in a forest or wherever, and just grab and just take the garbage or the rubbish with them in a small bag. That's what we did. We encourage people to plant trees. We encourage people to produce their own food, even if it's on a balcony or on a terrace when they don't have a house, because we know that food has an amazing carbon imprint when we import people. I don't know, in Europe, for example, when there's no season for strawberries, but people have strawberries in winter and they come from South America or from South Africa, or the grapes come from South Africa, stuff like that. So we always encourage people to do their own growing, what is possible. So yeah, we are very engaged. And the reason for that is, for me, the planet Earth, I would say Mother Earth, or like the indigenous in South America say Panchamama, or where I relate my from India, from Bharat, it's Body Mama. And I always say, I also, of course, respect my mother who gave birth to me. And I'm still, even when she's very dementia and she doesn't recognize, but I visit her regularly. I take care about her because she was giving birth to me. She was looking for me when I was a kid, and depend on her support and love. And it's the same for me for Mother Earth. I mean, Mother Earth is nourishing us. It gives some fresh water. It gives us air. It gives food and whatever. What we need. So it's also time to respect Mother Earth and give back. It's so important to take care about it. And that's what I do. And yeah, and together with my dear friend from Poland, with Marcin, we started the Earth Show. And it's not a show about finger pointing, what is bad and what you do. It's more about that we both and our guests, when we have interview guests, speak what we are doing on a daily basis, what we can contribute on a daily basis, so Mother Earth can recover. That's what we're doing.
Thanks, Roland. And we're really honored to host you and Marcin here for the Earth Show, which will be on tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time, which is 6 p.m. British Summer Time. So I want to introduce our guest. Our guest has been with me since the beginning, really. Every Friday we have been meeting, and we actually met on LinkedIn, and I just reached out to her, and then we had a Zoom call, and we really hit it off. I was looking for someone who was a psychic. And what's actually happened on our show, Pet Psychic Aminah, is an evolution of, in addition to what Pet Psychic Aminah does as a psychic and a trainer and a speaker, she's a huge conviction for this planet, for coexistence, for sustainability. And most of the shows are about that: the honeybee, the monarch butterfly, and why it's so important that we actually care about this planet. So let's welcome Aminah, Pet Psychic, to the show. Welcome.
Hello,
Thank
Aminah.
you so much. Roland, I feel like we're cousins separated at cousin birth or whatever. That was amazing and so amazing. I'm not shocked at all that Dr. Jacalyn has you on the show. I've only gotten to hear clips of your work, and it's amazing. But to hear it first person with you, thank you. Thank you for all that you're educating and doing, because if we all don't step out and do that, then it's on us who know that there's a problem, who know that there's a solution, and it's as simple as, for me, I live in a condo. I have no yard, so I tell people you just need this much space for one milkweed. That's all, and then maybe a couple of flowers for the honeybees, and we can sustain, and we can begin there. Each one of us can begin there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, everybody can contribute. I always say it's not about the skills, it's about the mindset. Do you want? Do you want it? It's all about the mindset.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure. Aminah, I'd love to start off. We're going to talk about a dead bear is a fed bear. Fed bear is a dead bear. But before we do that, you just alluded to the honeybee. We've also talked about the monarch butterfly. For our friends who are not sure, like, what's the big deal with the bee and the butterfly? Can you give us sort of a clip, a short clip about each one and why they're extremely important to the continuation of our existence?
Absolutely. And I've done this commercial many times, so I'm literally going to keep it short so I can go on in many other ways. So let me know if I forget how short is supposed to be. But let me really center on the honeybee. The honeybee, if you like food, any kind of food at all, and I mean hamburgers, because the cow actually has to eat the grass that the hamburger, comes from, and everything can be tied back. Everything you want to eat can be tied back in a chain reaction to a honeybee. And why is that? Because of pollination. If you don't have these wonderful little pieces of pollen sticking to their little legs, and you can look this up and see the pictures, it's just absolutely, for me, who has a love for all creatures, and especially these little guys, is that they have all the little pollens on their legs. And they go from flower to flower to flower, and then just share it. They just share it. It's the way they're made. They don't understand that, oh, I got to get the sticky stuff on this and then I get the sticky stuff on that, because that's the way they were put together. That was the way they were created, to go from flower to flower to flower to flower and do that. So if you want to eat bread and grain, and you want to eat rice, or you want to have fruit, or you can pick anything. You want steak? Well, cows have to eat something, and that's the grass. We are all a circle. This isn't a triangle. It isn't a straight line. It isn't, this is someone else's problem. If each of our commitment to sustainability, to coexisting, to understanding that every single life matters. If anybody can explain the mosquito to me, I'm still waiting for that one. But I have spent time in Alaska, and those are some giant mosquitoes. So they have a purpose. Do I still want to kill them? Yeah, I'm not human, and I want a big old mosquito bite on my arm. But it's understanding. People are afraid of bees if they sting you. What I highly, highly suggest is take a deep breath. Wish them well. And Dr. Jacalyn can actually tell you she's done this, and she's grown so much. And I'm just so thrilled to have her as a friend and a colleague in my life, that she actually went out there. I didn't ask her. I hope to beat her over the head and say, no, you got to do this. I want you to choose to make a better life, to help the world, because you'll go through it so much happier. I promise. If you're doing good, how could you be unhappy? It's not possible.
Yeah, you bring up a great point, which I just want to ask Roland to comment about. Every creature has a purpose, and yet we as humans feel like we're judge and jury, that we just get to squish them, squash them, swat them, kill them. But yet in that whole chain, the ecological chain, they all have a purpose. Roland, what are your thoughts on this? Whoops.
I love honeybee. Oh,
No, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Well, I also love honeybees, and I said for myself, when I settle down again, actually, I'm looking for real estate right now to do permaculture and fruit forest. I will start beekeeping, because I love honeybees. I love honey, and I know when the honeybees are gone, the food is gone, and we are gone. But not only honeybees, I try not to kill any other creatures, except for food, of course. I'm a meat eater, but not only grass-fed beef, so only really healthy cows that really are outside and get grass and no grains and no soya stuff, whatever. Even here on this place where I don't know why, but here in Spain they have a lot of flies. I try not to kill them. To be honest, the only thing I really can't stand is in the night the mosquito. I have to solve this because I need some rest. That's the only one. That's the only one. And I remember when I was in France a few weeks ago with my girlfriend, when she was driving with me, I was bitten. I don't know. I guess it was bitten, or was bitten by, not by a honeybee, by a wasp. How you call it, wasp? Yeah.
A wasp. Yes.
What? Yeah. And it's the first time in my life that it happened. And I said, what's going on? And my girlfriend said, that's a feedback from the universe. You have been so aggressive. She had to give you a feedback. And it was okay, I can take it.
I love her.
Thank you for that. Yeah, but I'm a huge fan for honeybees, to be honest, because I know how they important are. And you also mentioned butterflies before. I remember as a child there in my home country in Austria, we had so many butterflies, and they're almost all gone because all of the herbicides and pesticides. And I'm always a very happy little boy still when I walk somewhere with my dog and I see butterflies around me, because I know they also have a meaning. Everything, and to be honest, my value is, or what I strongly believe is, most animals have been here on this planet before us. So when I say an animal is crossing the road, it's not true. We constructed a road in their area. Yeah, it has been their nature, their home. We just came as human beings and build buildings or road, whatever. So I highly they care about animals, whatever it is. But as I said, I'm a meat eater. I stand for it. But to be honest, I always honor the animal before I eat it. Always, always, always. I can, and I'm hunting myself, I'm fishing myself, I'm killing animals by myself, and I always honor it. I learned it actually from the indigenous in Africa when I've been there. Yeah, because okay, it's part of it, but I don't kill just for fun. And even not a wasp or a honeybee, but sometimes a mosquito.
That's one that just we can't figure out. So
Yeah. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I got the God question list. I was like, okay, at some point I get asked all these questions. It's like, why? What? No, I didn't get that one.
I did look it up, by the way. I did look it up about the mosquito, and I'm not going to remember exactly what I read, but something to the effect that in swamps where there are a lot of mosquitoes, that other creatures feed on them. I don't remember what they were, but you know,
they're fish a lot of times. Believe it or not, there are a couple of types of fish, and Roland, you probably know that they actually jump because the mosquitoes. I've spent a lot of time in Alaska, and it was in the summertime, so you've got all that really swampy water that's coming down from after the melt of the snows and that type of stuff. So what we see in many places, you're going to see it in the bayous, you're going to see it in New Orleans, you're going to see it in the really, really moist areas, which we have very few now in California, but we do have them. And with that body of water, this is their breeding. This is where they're having their eggs and their babies and all that type of stuff. So you have to realize that the mosquitoes feed the birds and feed their babies. And there is a chain reaction. I'm just not sure why they have to be blood-sucking, lovely people, bugs, because the mosquitoes in Alaska were quite large. And like, the joke up there, and when we went up there was, they should be driving and have licenses, and we should be them for bad behavior or something, because they're huge. They're absolutely, there's too much food up there.
But I have to mention something. I never kill them with chemicals, so it's always one-on-one, man-on-man.
Right.
Okay, it must be a fair hunt. A fair fight, okay? It's a fair fight.
Yeah.
But I can tell you a story. Many years ago, I really changed a little bit my opinion about mosquitoes. I know that they're bird feed, but I highly recommend the book by Esther Vilar. She's a very famous writer from South America, Esther Vilar. In German, it's called Rosita's Haut. Maybe it's Rosita's Skin in English. I don't know. Esther Vilar. And this is a love story that changed my life about mosquito. It's about a story of a rich, I guess, Argentinian hacienda owner who has many houses. And he goes to one of these weekends houses. He didn't use a long time with one of his mistresses to spend their weekend there. And there were a lot of mosquitoes. And so he killed a lot of mosquitoes. There was one mosquito who fell in love with this girl, with Rosita. And so this mosquito was always flying an attack against this old man, against this hacienda owner, because the mosquito doesn't want that they make love, because the mosquito fell in love with this girl. An amazing, beautiful love story about a mosquito.
That's creativity. I'm sorry, Dr. Jacalyn. You better find that author and interview him.
I'm going to look into that. Thank you.
Imagine. That's wonderful.
Wow. That's funny. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about bears. This is something that you want people to know. People are always feeding bears. In fact, I did a little bit of research and I saw people with picnic benches with a bear sitting there. Tell us what it is that we need to know. First of all, to keep the bear safe and to keep us safe, or to keep us safe and keep the bear safe.
Yeah, it's more to keep the bears safe. We tend to be a very me, myself, and I entity, and I use the term not only literally, a fed bear is a dead bear, but I'm using it more broadly. Just like we're talking about the honeybee or we're talking about birds, it is great to put out a bird feeder. It is great to put out nectar. I'd rather see you put plants in. I'd rather see you put a tree with seeds on it. That's not always possible. For example, where I live is in a condo. There are plenty of plants and trees and birds, and I've taken my tiny little patio and put the milkweed in pots and many other things. Not everybody is a green thumb. Not everybody has the ability physically or mentally or time-wise to manage any type of pots. So try to go as natural as you can. Sugar water, it's not the best for any of the animals, but what we're doing is trying to, what we've done with chemicals like Roundup, we have killed off the native plants that these native animals and insects and everybody has to have. So if you start with the bear, a fed bear is a dead bear, which means when you feed him, they see you as a source of food. And I don't know about you, I don't think I could win in a fight over food with a bear. I just don't. I have camped and hiked and backpacked through Alaska, and I have seen what it's like to carry my food on my back. So can you imagine if a bear decided to ransack our tent? And in Alaska, that's possible. In many other places, that's possible. And they take my Snickers bar or candy bar. What I learned when we were really out rural, that high sugar was something that we did carry around with us in case we needed that really good energy. And that's a whole different conversation. But you're going to have these types of things. When you feed wildlife, I'm going to use a clip. If you saw the news just 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, whatever it is in your area, there was a beautiful, ginormous walrus, and he was sleeping on a boat dock. And it's just a small section where people would bring their boats in. The problem is, of course, he almost sucked it. There's the picture. And he was being fed by people because he was very charismatic. He was very funny. He would talk to everybody. He was just charming. And animals can be charming. And it drew crowds every single day. And I just cried when I saw the article for the first time, because this is where the comment comes from, or the statement of a fed bear is a dead bear. This walrus was shot by Fish and Wildlife, or whoever their version of Fish and Wildlife is, what they had, because people would not leave him alone. And the boat owners were worried about their boats because he was going on and sunning himself on the end of their boats. He wasn't sinking them, but he could have. And they were afraid of him. Giant tusks, big fat fuzzy things. But does everybody get the humans caused this problem and our solution is murder? And in my world, that's how it is. So you're going to feed bears and say, oh, but it's so much fun, I'm going to feed the bears. Or I'm going to feed a homeless dog because you have compassion. But what I really, really stress is have enough compassion that if it's an animal that could be a pet, find a shelter that is not a kill shelter that will get him adopted. Or you find somewhere that they can be adopted, especially if they're handleable already. Maybe you're a great place to stop and make them friendly, make them household, and then get them a home. If it's a cat or a dog. I've actually seen somebody found a hamster one a couple of years ago and called me and said, we found a hamster. And I'm thinking, you better check with the neighbors. And they did. 3 doors down, a little kid had lost their hamster, run away. There are other things you can do besides how fast can we get the guns out. But humanity is lazy. We are all, I am to blame of this. We are all lazy. We are all waiting for the fast fix. How did we get into diet pills? How do we get into energy drinks? There's a list that goes on and on and on. It's better than having to jog 5 miles and build the energy up in your own body. It's just easier just to have a cup of coffee. We are about shortcuts. So what my encouragement is, let me make these animals real to you, with hearts, with passion, with families. You don't know if that beautiful walrus had an entire family, and that he is one of the reasons they get proper food, because he's a great hunter. And lions are that way. Tigers are that way. They have those packs. They have those groups that they have the ability to help and make sure everybody gets fed, everybody stays safe. But if we continue to be self-serving and saying, well, I just want to feed him once, it would be so cool, I want to take pictures with them and selfies. And that's what happened. And this walrus found these people charming and wonderful and kind, and that's great, except for it cost him his life. And that's what I want people to walk away and say, wait a minute, what do my actions, before I throw the trash on the ground, because I'm lazy, or whatever it is, or I don't know where trash is and I don't want to put it in my pocket, please, what is the next step? What happens to that trash? What happens to the bird that you just fed? What happens to a bird feeder is up in a tree, up on a bush, up on a thing. Nobody's directly involved. Squirrels have figured it out. Birdhouse, person, birdhouse. It all goes together. You need to make sure you're the farthest part of the equation, or don't exist at all for them. That's my goal. Please don't be a source for food. You can know, I can know, Roland can know, Dr. Jacalyn can know, nobody else. You need to just make sure the animals don't know. Because if they still feel that they're doing the work on their own, they will thrive. Our flowers will thrive. Our world will thrive. Once we become the king of food, which if some reason we want to be, it's so cool, I'm feeding a walrus. How do all those 10 people who fed that walrus, who begged Fish and Wildlife not to shoot him, and not one zoo would take that animal in. So they just went out there and said, never mind, in 3 days, all this went down, and they shot him. And they just let him drown in the water, as far as I understand. I refused to read up after that. It was like, okay, this is getting too heart-wrenching. But I already knew once I saw the news, and it didn't even start following him. Roland, you know the same thing. We see this over and over and over again. We must be the slowest learners in the universe, because we keep doing this. If you look at the ozone, if you look at our cars, why did it take us so long to understand that all that smoke coming out of the back of Grandpa's car was bad for the world, for the universe? But animals keep dying because we keep feeding them, and they should be in the wild. And I'm not saying we're going through massive earth consequences with our choices. We need to step in and create food. Did you hear the difference? Create food, not give food. Plant something, milkweed for the monarchs. Plant something, a seeded tree for the birds. Plant something for whatever they need, and then walk away. You can put a little camera in the tree. Nobody will care. You'll get all the film you want. But we have to be anonymous. And for some reason, humanity doesn't know how to do that. We want accolades. We want awards. We want this until it's bad. And then you go, oh, I didn't know. Well, shame on you. There's so much education out here, just like your show, Dr. Jacalyn, just like what Roland's doing, just like what I'm doing. We can only teach 1 million people at a time. And if you don't do anything, nothing changes. Sorry. This is a very big, hard subject for me. I'm tired of being the reason why these animals are dying. And it's murder. It's just straight out, just murder. And we've been working with, when I was in a wildlife sanctuary, working with Fish and Wildlife for years to do it differently. And I'm not there on the ground floor, so I'm not going to judge of what they are doing and what they aren't doing. But their actions are still shoot first, then we'll decide what we'll do next time. But next time never seems to come to do it differently. So I'm looking at the proof. It seems that we're still just shooting and then saying, well, then we'll educate people later. It's too late for that life. That walrus was loved, and that walrus was reacting to the relationship he saw. He had no knowledge that anybody was having a problem with it. That's us. That's all on us. That's all on us. It's the same thing if somebody fosters a friendship with you. fosters a business relationship with you. Oh, we're going to be great, and we're going to do all this and all this, and you do, and you open your business, and you all put in thousands, millions of dollars, and then you get to work one day, and all the brand new kitchen equipment you just bought millions of dollars worth, it's all gone because they robbed you blind. Well, maybe you should have looked up more about them and not gotten into business so quickly. I can give us 100 examples in our lives as we do this, but all of us in the animal world knew how that was going to come out for that walrus. And there was nothing we could do to stop it, which is the most frustrating position to be in.
Yep. Absolutely. I can absolutely relate to that, and I always say no, never ever field a wild animal, never ever, because they follow the instinct and they eat, and they get, as I said, you have less distance to the human beings, what can be deadly. Then maybe it's too convenient for them. They don't hunt anymore or whatever they do. So I always say I never feed animals in wildlife, and I never do this. But I also I don't support any exposure of animals, so I don't go to a zoo because I feel sorry for this in the small cages. Well, sometimes I go to parks where animals really have a lot of space, where they can really feel free, because I love wolves and I love all kinds of bird sprays like hawks and eagles and stuff like that. I love them, so where they can fly around. But I never feed them except when they offer some food that fit to the animal. Then I buy it and feed it. And actually, 2 weeks ago, when I was in Valencia. Valencia has the largest aquarium in Europe, called Oceanographic. And I love aquariums. Yeah, I love the small fishes, this colorful fishes in the oceans. So I went there to buy a ticket because I said it's huge, so the fish have really space. And I was there at the ticket counter to get an entrance. Was quite expensive, by the way. And then the lady said, "Yeah, the dolphin show starts in half an hour." And I said, "What? You have a dolphin show?" "Yeah, in Wales." I said, "No, thank you." And I was offset. "No, I'm sorry. I don't support this. I don't support this. Sorry for that." And she looked at me. "What do you mean?" I said, "Yeah, sorry. I don't support this. Sorry, but dolphins in an aquarium or Wales aquarium, this is not good. I don't support it." I said, "Oh, like SeaWorld or stuff like that." But people have to learn this. As you said, Aminah, it's lovely to have a selfie with these animals, but why are people so egoistic and egocentric that I need a picture with this creature? It doesn't help this creature, and all this creature is suffering. It's really suffering.
Right. Well, and I spent 10 years in a wildlife sanctuary in Southern California, and our sanctuary was full of reject Hollywood actors, like a bear chooses to act, right? And we had fancy lions, and we had chimpanzees for medical research. And you'd want to talk about a chip on the shoulder. Get a few very, very powerful chimpanzees, really angry, being poked all the time. But we had, everybody remembers the MGM lion and how they opened up with that. Well, we had his distant cousin. So Bolero was stunning and breathtaking and was bred for the movie industry and decided otherwise. And if you're going to take a giant full-grown male lion and say, you have to do this, well, good luck. But luckily in Los Angeles, the woman who opened this sanctuary did it because she was in the movie industry herself and had all this land up in the Los Angeles Hills. So it's very, very, very rural. You'd have to know about it. It wasn't a public thing. But how we had all these animals was from this illegal owning, or what do you do with the MGM lion, or what was it? And what do you do with them when you retire? Retire. Who's going to feed that? Who's going to care for them? So people, what I really hate about mankind is that we don't think about the results of what we do. And Roland, you brought that up beautifully, is we really got to see what are we causing in the chain reaction. Not, oh, this is great, I'm going to feed this little squirrel now and it's going to be so wonderful. But then when it tears up your plants and it rips your screen off because he wants more food, then you go out and have him poisoned. and you have them killed, or you have them drugged to a sanctuary, or so. No, we're not taking responsibility for our own actions, and that's where I think we have to come with education. I'm not for all let's beat you over the head. No, I'm very passionate about it because I'm seeing the death. When I heard about that walrus, I think I was in a store or something. They were playing the news, and I stopped to listen to it, and I was like, "Oh no, oh no, they're going to kill him." And within a week, he'd been shot because people were out on the dock feeding him, and the boat people didn't like it. The people who owned the boats, and he started sleeping on the boats, which he basically could sink them. And I feel so helpless. So this is why I asked Dr. Jacalyn to be on this and to do this. And Roland, thank you so much for all that you're sharing, because if we don't get the word out, nobody's going to know what they don't know. That's where we have to start with knowledge.
Yeah, but many people are not aware about cause and effect, what they're
Right.
effective with. To be honest, some people really believe they do something good to this animal, yeah,
Right.
because they think it, they don't think it to the end. Some people, because they don't have the education at all. That's the
Exactly.
point. They don't have the
Exactly.
education.
And that's what this whole platform, what Dr. Jacalyn is doing on all of the key things, is education, of enlightening us on whatever the topic is. And I thank her every moment, every day, of saying, I can finally say, a fed bear is a dead bear. It's not just a jingle. It's been around forever, the saying. I don't care which walrus or bear or cat or dog is going to die. But if you choose to feed wildlife, you either do it healthy and anonymous, or don't do it at all.
I support a wolf research center. I love wolves, and a wolf research center in the north of Germany. And I was there the last time. And they only have a few wolves, but in a huge area. And what they do, what I really love, that's why I support them, is they educate farmers, who have cattle, because the wolf is coming back in Europe. And people are really scared about it because of all these fairy tales and stuff like that. So they educate them what kind of fences they can build, and especially which breed they can use, which guard dogs they can use. Like my dog is a guard dogs, guarding about cattle. And what I really love there is not only the education they do on the farmers, so they can co-live together, but what they also do is when somebody brings a wolf to them that is hurt by a car accident or something, they give them all the medication and all the food, but anonymously. So this wolf never is in contact with any of the doctors or something. Never ever. They do it really in a cool system, so they can let the wolf out in the wilderness, and this animal is not used to animal contact, so it comes closer and closer. So that they make it really, really clever.
And it has to be. It has to be on a zero connection. Human fed me, human medicated me, human did this. Now you'll see wild animals people who coexist with them, literally coexist with them in the wild, and they have a cabin in a really rural place or something like that. And you'll see that wildlife will actually come to them when they've got a slit paw, or they've got a trap on their foot, or whatever, because the relationship is trust. And then they bandage them, they get it taken care of, and they let them go, because there's no captivity, there's no keeping them there. It's the things they can do. We can all do this. That's why I say, put some milkweed out for the monarch butterfly. Put out flowers that a honeybee would like. And if you are afraid of a bee, believe it or not, they want nothing to do with you at all. To sting you means they die. That is their last thing to go with. If you're concerned, I honor that. Put the flowers somewhere where you're not in a walking path, where you're not going to go by people. There are ways to do just what Roland said. Help with the care, and then let them go, where there's no habit forming, like feeding wildlife inappropriately, like letting a walrus sleep on your boat. And I don't know how you don't let a walrus sleep on your boat, because that would be a very big conversation. But they should have stopped it. with the
I
people
remember,
coming by to take pictures.
I remember the this picture on Facebook or somewhere with this walrus. But you know what I want to say. I mean, it's so typical for the Western civilization. We always want to touch everything, have everything, hold everything, take everything. And it reminds me to a quote that I guess it was Mahatma Gandhi said when he was on working on that. He said, when an Indian people sees a flower in the wild, he lets the flower there and just enjoys the moment. And he says, English people, think about it. What kind of tea can I make out of it?
Yeah, I think
then
it's also
Americans that must be grown for me.
I think it's also that as humans, we have this desire to want to control everything, that we want to own everything. Yeah, we're in charge of everything. So,
well, and that we've got the best only plan.
Yeah.
And that's so far from the truth. Nature has the best only plan. We just
And
haven't.
what about, by the way, as we come to the end of our show, what about people go to other countries and then they sneak animals in, like indigenous animals to that area, and they bring them back here on a plane, like illegally bring them in? It's just, it amazes me. I actually know someone, I didn't know at the time they were doing it, but they brought in these huge iguanas, and I forget where they had gone outside the United States. And then they put them in their house in this like atrium area, and they got so big that they burrowed under the house and made a huge mess. And then the owner was furious. It's like, no, it's your fault. Why did you take them from where and smuggle them on a plane? Just doesn't.
Well, it's the same thing as I worked with skunks for a very long time, and you can de-skunk them, de-smell them, and they're little pouches. But people get them, they're so cute, and they come in all the different cover. And then, for example, a bee stings you, which they die, or the skunk shoots you, or the lion bites you, or and you're going, well, how? Really? It's a carnivore, it's a this, and you are violating its space. What we as humanity, I think one of our biggest problems is we respect nothing. It's me, 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 me. What do I want? What do I want to get out of it? What do I want to build my house? Oh, that water must be for me. What is wrong with the planet that we are now all trying to go, wait a minute, no, it's us. It's the same as the three of us here on this screen at this very moment, trying to say, please make it us. Stop making it me. Because we will all survive. We will all thrive. I really want to stress this, thrive, when we care about someone else. Start with one person. And I hope by the end of the month it's 5 and 6 and 10. And then that's where you go through the world.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Aminah. What a great way to bring this show to a close. Roland, final comments for Aminah as we close out today.
Well, I really enjoyed this conversation, and I love to connect with people, and we encourage each other what we're doing, and spread the message. You know, the more mouths that are open and the more role models. It's all about being a role model. Also, I lost one of my things. As I always say, it's not about finger pointing. It's more about becoming a role model. You know, and show what is possible. And I love this conversation very, very much, and because it's as I said, it's about the animal, you know, especially with wild animal. And when somebody holds a wild animal at home, this does nothing have to do with love for me. It's just the ego. It's just the ego, and we have to overcome this ego and reconnect to nature. Really reconnect to nature, and feel blessed when we walk in a forest and see a deer or a squirrel or a rabbit, enjoying the moment. Maybe we can connect it for a short time. Yes, it's beautiful, but why we don't always have to make a photo or bring this animal at home? I don't understand this. But I think it's just because people don't live in the present moment. It's more about showing somebody else that I met this animal, instead of enjoying just the present moment. And that's what we have to educate the people again. Reconnect and enjoy the present moment, and you don't have to tell anyone what kind of animal you met. You don't need a proof on a photograph.
Right.
Well, exactly. and Roland, honestly, the only thing I would say to end with that is if you feel like you need to take the animal home, take a picture. Brag about it all you want. Just don't touch them. Don't take them. Don't rehome them in any way, shape, or form. If that's the way we can get you to coexist, then I'm all for the cell phone. Take a million pictures, but leave them in the wild.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you so much for being here, Aminah. I really appreciate it. And again, you can watch Aminah on Fridays at her new time, which is actually noon Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 8 p.m. British Summer Time. So
I don't know how you do this.
Too much. Aminah, we do have your banner up. So please, for people who can't read it, how can people get in touch with you? And what are some of the services and offerings that you have?
I am all about you coexisting with your pets when I work with people personally, and when is it time and what age your children should be. Any of that I can help with. So I am bridgingworlds.us, bridgingworlds.us. Everything you want to know about me, all my social media. I am very silly on social media because animals are just a huge blessing. And I want us all to love them and share with them. But if I can be of any help, bridgingworlds.us.
Thank you so much, my friend. It was a pleasure having you here today, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Absolutely. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. What a great conversation, Roland.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really enjoyed it. And it gives me hope that more and more people are really taking care about Mother Earth and the creatures in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We've got 3 people here that are really in favor of that and living that. And as Aminah mentioned, it just takes one person just getting that information. And I think one of the most important things I took away from today is, while we think we're doing something nice for the animal, the squirrel for an example, and we feed the squirrel's going to come back. It's going to think, yes, there's more food, and it's going to come back and try to get in, and then it's going to disrupt the way we're living. And then we're going to go, what's wrong with this crazy squirrel? What's it doing? Well, we invited it. We said, hey, we have an open door policy here for you. And then we slam the door in its face and it gets mad. So just respect the whole process. Each creature is here for a reason and a purpose. And our goal is not to be feeding, but create. We can create new opportunities by planting trees, by planting bushes, as Aminah had mentioned. So I think, to me, that was the most important takeaway.
Absolutely. That's also my plan with my permaculture when I get a new real estate, is not only grow food for myself and my beloved one, but also let part of the land being for the wild, for the animals, for the bee, for the insects, for the birds, for the squirrels, for the rabbits, whoever wants to jump in on the property and enjoy life. It's so important that we give them space back.
Where are you looking for property, Roland? In which country, or can you say?
Oh, it's not officially, but I will look at my first target country is Portugal. I think about Portugal. If it's not Portugal, maybe it's Greece, but I'm looking for the first time I start looking in Portugal.
Very exciting. Well, I look forward to hearing the latest updates as you travel around. And I want to just spotlight you again for people who want to reach out. What are some of the services and offerings that you have for our audience?
Yeah, thank you. So whenever you want to contact me, maybe it's a business contact, working together with my consulting training company, we can offer our services worldwide in 8 or 9 languages. What we do currently, we work with US, with Canadians, with Swedish, Swiss, and a French company at the moment. Please contact us. Or if you do some men's work or you need some coaching and maybe say, hey, this guy has a crazy lifestyle. Maybe I want to also not travel in an RV, but maybe live on an island, work remotely from wherever I want to work. You can have some coaching. We support you how you can do this transformation smoothly, so it's long lasting and successful for you. Yeah, go on my website. It's my name, roland.friedl.com. I will spell it for you. It's ROLANDFRIEDL.com. As I said, it's always my main website, and from there you can link to the other topics, and you can follow the link to the other website depending what you're interested in. And yeah, just connect with me. I'm always happy to meet new people and to learn from them, where they're coming from, where they want to go. Yeah, let's connect. And it's at the end of it's all about sharing and caring. That's what the purpose we're here on this planet: sharing and caring and taking care of each other and support each other. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And typically you would see Roland right after this first Talking Head series, but Roland, you'll be back next week with what's your topic, please?
Yes, gentlemen, when you're waiting for that, I'm sorry, but actually it was planned to split the last episode in 2 parts, but I was delivering all the content in the first part, so there was no content left that makes sense for you guys, and I just don't want to waste your time and fill it with something. So we continue next side when we're talking about commercial insights. We go further for the next step next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central European Time or 3 p.m. East Standard Time. Yes, we're going to continue the journey about how to help customers manage change through innovation.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And if you've missed any of Roland's episodes, please go over to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV, and you can look up playlists and you'll find Talking Heads 2022 and also Talking Heads Roland Friedl. All right, Roland, and thank you again, Aminah. That's all we have for today. That's our last show. We'll be coming back tomorrow with a full list of shows, all of them providing education, entertainment, inspiration, and hope. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day or your evening. Bye, Roland.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Aminah.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.